So I guess today's topic is just to brief you with the multi-modal interactions, right? How the customer experience can be improvised. So I will talk about what is the current problem, right? In order to, we are creating a lot of systems. It can be bots, web interactions and all that. The only thing is missing, we don't think from the customer point of view. So the customer feels the pain. It feels like that the company has no memory in it, right? So that's where I'm coming from, and how multi-model interactions can help and improvise the customer experience overall. I will be talking about that first, and then drilling down into the genetic AI, RAG, and the governance part. I will try to skip because we have already covered a lot in the governance in the morning itself. Can you press? Oh, it's off. Okay. So we will be covering it into 6 sections or acts. So first, understanding what exactly is breaking, right? What is the fragmented problem what we have? And then we will move into the multi-model shift, which is basically understanding different data sets coming to it, different data points. Then moving to the architecture level of it, right? How we can build those systems. After that, we will have a case study, how we utilize in transportation or supply chain itself, right? Then we move into the autonomous behavior, how we can build using GenAI. Then we will go towards the roadmap itself, right? So in terms of what exactly is the current problem, honesty is whatever we are building at present in terms of enterprise is building on stack over stack. We don't build in a breadth, and all the systems are talking to themselves. There's no unified data layer which is governing and which is giving the signals or systems or recommendation to all different layers. So that's where the customer experience gets cracky, or the customer does not feel that he has to repeat each and everything again and again. Give you an example, right? Say that I want to book a car, right? I usually go to Zik app and try to book. If there's no cabs found, I can basically talk to a call center. I have to repeat each and everything again, that I'm going from this location to this location, this type of car and all that. So because the information what I am behaviorally doing on the app is not being shared to the call center. Every system itself has its own experience. The only thing is missing, that customer is facing the pain from one system to another system, and that's where the whole experience comes at a top. So there are 3 root causes. We have a fragmented journeys, right? That's where 73% of our customers are switching from one channel to another, and there's no seamless interaction. The data, which is basically transfer from web to IVR to call center, is working in silos. So there's a data silos. Then the data, whatever we are producing, is not used by AI in general, right? And the other is whatever insights we are bringing, it comes way after, because we move the data from a transaction system to an analytical, and then over the GenAI side of things. So there's no real time happening, which allows to have a seamless customer experience itself. Then moving towards a vision, it seems very good on paper. I would say that one customer brain and many touch points, but it has to be done seamlessly, where the data moves real time, and you have a data, I would say, unified intelligence layer, which is collecting data, which is also giving the decision and passing those information to the relevant touch points altogether. So the context has to be shared, the data has to be shared, and it has to give the decisions shared itself as well, so that the system knows what would be the next best message to be done. So we are now understanding the problem, right? That the customer journey has the issue, the data and the fragmented journey is the problem. But how do we solve it? It's coming through the multi-modal shift. That's where we are trying to move towards. So what exactly that entails? That we need to look into the 3 different lenses of the customer. The customer is behaving giving some prompts or intents. They are behaving with the digital journeys, and also they are providing us a structured data, right? How many trips he has done, the loyalty, and all of that. So all of this data has to be moved towards a unified layer, and it should fusion together so that we have a better understanding of the customer and we can have a better picture of a customer itself. So in order to have all of this, we need to make sure that the data moves to the unified layer in a real time. If it is a batch or a daily refresh, you won't be able to have a decision and recommendations, and you can't basically automate the whole journey. So most of the enterprise are not able to automate fully just because of this. So in terms of transportation, we are also utilizing it as we have driverless cars coming on road. So we are looking into the delays, cancellations, the weather reports, how the traffic conditions are. Then in terms of structure, we are trying to understand how many trips they are doing, what kind of trips, what timing, what location they are moving towards. Then is the behavior, right? How they are interacting with us. A lot of people come and see the price, they switch to Grab or Gojek. So all of this computations come into place to understand what is the supply and demand of it. Then is the conversational log. All the systems is generating different kind of log. All of that has to move towards a unified layer itself. In terms of architecture, we are moving towards a 4-layer architecture, which we utilize in Comfort itself, right? It's basically signals, all kind of signals where we are trying to get from different systems. It's moved to a unified layer in real time. We can use Kafka and storage and all of that. Then we move towards the understanding layer. This is where all the signals are converted into a meaning. And after that, it goes to a decision layer where your models, LLM come into place. They provide us the decisions altogether, right? So a lot of companies move from step 1 to 2 to 3. The 4th is where you need to make sure you have governance, the guardrails in place so that you can basically automate the whole journey. As if you want to basically say that if I want to book a car, and I want to get a refund, it does not go to the investigation team based upon the time arrival or whatsoever cancel. We are able to get a waive off automatically without any human interaction in place itself. Or there's no backend team trying to investigate and coming up with the whole results. Then in terms of transportation, there are 4 things which we work upon a lot. One is in terms of disruption management. This is quite important for us as Comfort is not just doing cabs. We do have our sister companies like SBS Transit, which is doing the buses, trains and all of that. So making sure that whatever disruptions happen, it is real time and personalized to the customer itself, right? To the person itself. So we want to make sure that we can reduce the disruptions and we can try to know the, I would say, detect what has happened in a much more faster way and using AI itself. Then is the demand forecast, where we want to understand what would be the demand of cars coming in next 4 hours, what would be supply, what would be a demand, which place there will be a huge demand itself, so that we can divert our supply accordingly to that zone or region altogether. Then is your conversational support, where we want to move towards as well. And then is the autonomous dispatch, right? How we can dispatch to the right people and right person. And the last is how we can have automated driverless cars, and how we can minimize the safety reasons and all of that, and the risk part as well. So in the real-time disruption, we want to move from reactive to a proactive approach, more of a multi-model, so that we can basically understand the crowd, understand how many people are inside the station. If there's any brokerage, we can update them, and we can personalize the message so that they can choose different routes, and they can understand what time they would be reaching to that destination altogether. Demand focus is something which we have been doing in terms of it, how we can understand the ridership, what's the weather, what all are the different events coming, how we can understand the demand and we can forecast it. Conversational is how we can have a seamless experience to the person. Now we are trying to bring, I would say, genetic AI in terms of it. If we can start a WhatsApp channel and where I can write, I want to go from Changi to Bidok, it will automatically book a cab for you without going into the app itself. So this is where the seamless journeys come into place, and you would have your app being connected to different channels. Even if you are booking through call center, you're booking through chat, you're booking through chatbot, you're booking through WhatsApp, all the information seamlessly go towards different touch points, so that if I'm trying to reach out to you via chat, there is a memory stored over there, so that the customer don't have to update everything from the scratch itself. The next part is basically a lot of, I would say, enterprise is working on the chatbot, then moving towards an assistant, right, where they can basically build. But the opportunity basically lies in terms of agent, how we can make sure that it is fully autonomous. There's no human interaction being involved. There has to be a governance of policies and the guardrails, but making sure that the knowledge base is basically transferred correctly, and we are able to reach to the whole of the interaction. And it has to do a multi-step process, right? If I have to book a car, we might come up with a feature that you don't have to type down. You can just say on notes, voice note, I want to go from here to here, and automatically it books for you. So that there's all the payment channels and everything is being integrated all together. So the next part is basically understanding that there are 4 levels. One is the chain, which is more of a rule-based automation, which we are trying to do. I guess what we have seen in the presentations in the past, that certain rules we need to put, and certain things we need to, we can give the GenAIs to work upon it, right? And then how we can automate the workflows, how we can make a dynamic workflow with the LLMs and all of that. Goal 3 is something most important to us, right? Where whatever we are trying to utilize, right? Whether it is GenAI or rules or whatsoever, we need to have a goal in mind. The enterprise means whatever objective you are building, it has to have a goal, a success metrics or a KPI. Then you can basically move towards a multi-model, and after that, it's basically how you can have the fully automated version, which is your enterprise system. So coming back to that, there are 3 different pillars for production base, right? One is making sure that grounding is there. Grounding is much more important because your knowledge base keep on changing, right? And you need to make sure that your models are not going into in terms of it is giving a wrong input or basically output itself, right? Then is tools, and in terms of API, making sure all of your systems are integrated well with your other systems as well, right? So that every action it is taken by the system or taken by your Gen AI is being recorded, and it has to have a understanding, because now with I would say Gen AI can also explain the reasoning behind it. All of the reasoning has to be also stored in terms of a system, so that you have a better understanding of different decisions has been taken how. And guardrails is much more important, making sure that you have a kill switch button, right? Whenever you want certain things, it has to hand it over to a human, so that you are making sure that you have certain thresholds being hit, and it does not happen over there, right? In terms of, I would say, Grab, if you would have seen that, I guess 2-3 months ago they had pricing shooting to $2,000 or so, right? Because making sure that guardrails or thresholds are not there in place, right? So how we can move towards all of this system, how we have implemented in, I would say, Comfort is a 12-month period, right? I guess our initial foundation is making sure our signals, all our data is being captured at a signal level, being stored, and it is able to move to different systems. And then we come up with the integration model, coming up with one of the POCs, making sure that it works correctly, it can automate things, and then we move towards a fully automated way. Because I would say, until recommendation, everybody is able to reach. But a lot of projects does not go after recommendation. The main action is still being done by a human. We want to move that action also to fully autonomous itself, right? Where the governance has to be strong enough itself. Then I guess the last I would say is making sure that accountability matters a lot. If your model is hallucinating, if your model is giving wrong output, who exactly is responsible? You need to make sure that the main owners are accountable for your models. You are able to make sure whatever recommendations are coming, it has a human means it has a proper reasoning which is being documented itself. Monitoring is something important. We keep a monitor, and if you want to refactor or basically if there's a drift happening, we need to retrain our models. We should be able to do it, and permissioning is also important, making sure each and every person has different permissioning and different guardrails itself. And the key part is that we want to make sure that we are able to automate our tasks, we have a better efficiency, and the sentiments are better for our customers, and we are able to improvise our revenue numbers, right? So the retention and the lower the churn itself. So the last, I would say, the key takeaways is basically multimodal AI is more of a philosophy, how you design your whole architecture. It don't have to be built on a case-to-case basis. It has to have a bottom-to-up approach, right? Making sure all your data is unified, and the same unified data is transferred to other systems also. So if your customer experience is much more better, if making sure that the customer don't have to repeat everything, they are able to do faster, and they with less amount of effort altogether. So conversation AI is more of making sure you have a fully customer-facing interface with all the data being in it, right? And it has to be a grounded data itself. And fully autonomous requires a trust in infrastructure. So making sure that whatever you build in the POC, if you want to scale, you need to provide the trust, the ROI, and the guardrails itself. And the last is making sure that whatever you build, you need to scale your whole of the architecture. So making sure that you don't repeat those mistakes again and again. With that, I guess I will conclude. the presentation. Any questions? Yes, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, in terms of incorporating, say, other businesses or apps, right? If you want to just say, use my WhatsApp and go, I need a ride here. How does it work with the APIs from those apps and like authentication for login and payment? Like, is it difficult to get the API from these apps to coordinate something like this?
So I would say a lot of now, if you talk about WhatsApp or you talk about WeChat or if you talk about any social media platforms, right? All does have their own REST APIs available, right? Authentication has to be done based upon, for us, in terms of Grab, means in terms of the ride-hailing industries, we basically use our phone numbers as the main key, right? So if the person, and if you talk about WhatsApp or WeChat over it, they're also using the phone number. So it is easier to authenticate over, but they have to have a common, I would say, principal field. It can be email, it can be one time you basically authenticate with your app system so that you have a token exchange itself as well, right? So there are multiple ways to do that, and with, I would say, a lot of times it can be basically automated itself as well.
So in terms of the agent interacting, like from my understanding, it's easier for the agent to interact via CLI or like the API directly as opposed to using the app as like a human would use it.
Yes.
Is that a possibility? Where do you see the challenges with that? For like authentication via WhatsApp, sure, you can connect your accounts, but then for the agent to navigate those platforms to do the bookings?
So I would say that the challenge is basically, okay, if you talk about the technology challenge, it is mostly making sure that the person should already have an account with us. They should not be using some other numbers and all of that, right? Because some people have different phone numbers as well, right? I'm using a channel, my own WhatsApp, but my Zik account is associated with some other numbers. So those are the challenges on the tech side. But if you talk about challenges, most challenges comes with the management, how they change management, how we move towards, in terms of implementing, there's more, I would say, issues with the business side, making sure that understandability and how, and they also think that it might cannibalize their own current people itself, right? So it's a change management which is much more important, the mind change, than building those technologies. Any other questions? Okay, if not,
I have one.
yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. Maybe looking to your competitors, you have Grab and some others. What do you see that they are doing quite good that you see potentially as an opportunity for your company?
Okay, I would say, okay, Comfort is, okay, it's not just a I would say taxi company. So we do have competition coming in from Grab, Gojek, Tata, and all that. But Comfort is a very big umbrella company. Our businesses is not just giving taxis. If you talk about Comfort in general, it is a bigger umbrella company because we have taxis running in UK, Ireland, taxis running in Australia. All that also comes under Comfort. The trains which are in metros which are in Paris, that's also under Comfort. So we do have our 50% of revenue comes internationally. In Singapore, the local, I would say the buses, trains is also by Comfort. So, but in general, yes, we do have. If you talk about just Zik, which is a taxi ride-hailing platform, it has a stronger competition with Grab. But the difference is Grab is heavily dependent upon PHV. We are a purely traditional taxi company, which we are trying to pivot us, right? Because we provide taxi operators. Now we are trying to move towards the ride-hailing side of things and all that. We get more than, I would say, 10,000-15,000 calls in a month for taxi booking, right? We are trying to automate all of that using GenAI and all that. But there is, I would say, stronger competition with Grab and Comfort, and with driverless cars and all of that. We are trying to make sure that we are in power with Grab in general, because the drivers are also the Comfort is heavily dependent upon taxi and a driver. Grab is not heavily dependent upon that because it's more of a PHV model. They just provide a platform, but Grab, Comfort provide a taxi and they also provide drivers as well.
That's great. Thank you so much.